Welcome to the Word of Encouragement on Memorial Day, and I trust you're having a great day. It's a wonderful weekend. Obviously, it's a time when families get together. It's also a time when churches remember that our religious freedom has come because of the sacrifice of so many. And it's also time for us to realize that we need to pray for our country. Over these last few years, we've had this little time together because of some of the major issues that have confronted us in our country and literally around the world. And we need to stay encouraged, even as it seems things are getting darker and darker, yet God's light is just as powerful as it's always been, and God's power is ready to enable us to accomplish His work. Since it is Memorial Day, I want to look at 1 Peter chapter 2, and we read in verse 13, "Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors, as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers, and for the praise of them that do well. For so is the will of God, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men." Now, it's a very interesting statement there, in light of the fact that we are to have a testimony of a genuine heart of submission to God, and therefore an appreciation and respect for our leaders, even when they are not the kind of men and women we would like them to be. And yet, if they make decisions and have laws that do not directly go against our biblical conscience, well, we need to have a heart of submission and not be reacting, for in doing so, we hurt our testimony. And that's what it says here. It's the will of God that we respond right, because our natural reaction is to rebel, to push back. We don't like to be told what to do. And so when we have a right heart as a believer, then the testimony of the Lord through us has far much greater impact when our spirit is right. And we're able to put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. People try to paint Christians a certain way and to give a totally wrong perspective about them. But when we have the Spirit of God working through us and our testimony is clear and we're cooperative and we have the right spirit and we are endeavoring to strengthen our country and our community, well, that puts to silence so much of what is said. And we're able then to have a clear testimony that Jesus is the answer. And it goes on in verse 16, "As free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of God." And so it's important for us, though we are citizens of a heavenly country, though we are free from the hold of the prince of the power of the air, and though we are very clearly not of this world, we need to use what God has given to us, not to get what we want, but instead to be the servant of the Lord, and therefore a clear testimony to His name. And so on this Memorial Day, let's thank God for those who have paid the ultimate price for us, and realize that the freedom we have is a freedom to be used for the glory of God, and may God mightily work through us in the days ahead.